Greetings, YouTube. I recently was listening to something and they were talking about the concept of proud to be an American. Besides being a song lyric, it is an idea and a concept that is very popular amongst many people that were born in America. Even amongst those, some of those become naturalized. But they are proud to be an American. And I've never been able to figure out why. Now, I'm really fond of the ideals that our nation was founded upon. But those ideals have never been realized, ever. It is important to remember that when our nation was founded, the only people that could vote were white, straight, Christian men who were landowners. If you didn't own property, you couldn't vote. The concept being that if you didn't have a vested interest in the community and the nation at large because you owned part of it, that you shouldn't be able to vote for policies that were going to affect it. That was eventually changed, and eventually they opened it up to women. Of course, not brown and Asian and black women right off the bat, but they eventually opened it up to women. And eventually they let non-Christians vote as well, even though this nation was formed as a secular entity. This is not a Christian nation. The founding fathers were not interested in founding a Christian nation. They know what happens from very personal experiences and real world examples in Europe. What happens when your country ties itself to a religion? And they didn't want that shit because they were smart. They also had many other problems, don't get me wrong. Most of them were slave owners. And they didn't give a crap if they disrespected brown people and black people and Asian people and the indigenous people and non-Christian people and of course women who had no power whatsoever at the time. They were barely considered to be more complex and important than livestock. So I just don't see what there is to be proud about. If we lived up to our ideals, then yes, I could say with absolute assurity that I would be proud to be an American. I can remember one time, it was shortly after 9/11, and I saw my mother. She had a blazer on, and she had a little American flag pin. And she asked me, she said, "Where's your American flag pin?" I said, "I'll wear an American flag pin when I'm proud of America." And since that has never happened, I don't fly a flag. The one time I ever had a flag in my videos, it lasted for 4 years. It was back behind me. It was upside down because I considered the White House to be under the occupation of Nazis. So it very deliberately put that flag upside down because our country was in distress. And sadly, we're facing that possibility again. I'll have to get a new flag and put it back up again, I guess. Um, so I just fail to see why people want to be proud to be American. It's a nation that doesn't care if people die from disease or hunger, doesn't care if they're homeless, doesn't care if they're exploited on the job, doesn't care if they have no freedom of speech, doesn't care if they can't vote without having their vote suppressed. It doesn't care about so many things because those things help fuel the status quo, which or reverse it in some cases, because the GOP very much wants us to go back to the 1940s, the 1930s. They want to have a world before there was civil liberties. They'd probably be happy if they went all the way back prior to the advent of women's ability to vote. That would probably make them real happy. That would make it a lot easier to pass more laws to ban women's capacity to have bodily autonomy. But they're doing all these things, so I don't see anything to be proud of. And as a wise person once said, if you're not angry, you're not paying attention. And there's a lot to be angry in America about right now. And there's shit all to be proud about.